ladies and gentlemen. This is Martin Steed, and welcome to Arts and Culture. I'm joined by the phenomenal, insightful, creative, and dynamic, a true calling that has hailed from Broadway to Newark. I am so proud to present my dear sister, Donna Walker-Kuhne. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You know, there's a movement asunder when you think of phenomenal women, sisters with superpowers like yourself and a Judith Jamison. When you think about her and what individuals should know about what they're going to experience, can you just tell a little bit of the story of where and how important she and dance are to our community?
Absolutely. Of course, with the passing of Miss Jamison in November, there's even an additional spotlight on the incredible contribution she has given the world, since she began performing in the 60s. So Miss Jamison was always a phenomenon from her artistry, her height, her grace, but also her ability to be herself. She was always herself, no matter where she has been, whether she's speaking to ambassadors, heads of government, or to the dancers next to her. You got Judith all the time. And that is something that I think everyone has really appreciated. And it was with, her stepping into her mission with Alvin Ailey that we really were able to enjoy her, on a much broader level. And that is, when Mr. Ailey choreographed Cry for her, this is a tribute to his mother, and having this solo piece that was done with the music of phenomenal female artists, and no one performing it like Miss Jamison because it was set on her. And that catapulted her beyond anyone's imagination. And, I believe the first time she performed it, the ovation, I believe her standing ovation was over 10 minutes, and so she set a standard just in terms of being an artist and being the finest and the most incredible artist one could imagine. So that's one lane. And then, as Mr. Ailey's muse, she was able to really discover herself because she had the playground to try different roles. And then, of course, choreographing and creating her own work. When she created Hymn, Hymn, on the company as a tribute to Mr. Ailey with the writing of, noted playwright Anna DeVere Smith. That was another incredible piece. So she's done many, many works as a choreographer that also established her artistry. And then, of course, when she left the company and then decided to create her own company, the Jamison Project, then she, was able to work with dancers and nurture dancers and really set her own vision on those. And then when it became apparent Mr. Ailey's health, was failing and they wanted to make sure they had an artistic director successor, he asked her to please be his successor. Then the company just went on to a whole different level and expanded. And the dancers really responded well to Miss Jamison. She was incredible. She's just an amazing, wonderful woman who could do interviews flawlessly, choreograph in the studio, same kind of effort, teach and talk about the joy of dance and why we dance and what it means to be an artist. So missing her, I mean, every time I speak to some of the dancers, they talk about how much they just miss her presence, even though she had retired. And we had, Robert Battle had been artistic director for 10 years before Matthew Rushing, who's currently the interim artistic director. She still was very much around, and we wouldn't let her go. So even at NJPAC, New Jersey Performing Arts Center, our wonderful engagement with Miss Jamison began when the building opened in 1997. Alvin Ailey's company was in residence at NJPAC, meaning that they perform every year since 1997. They are part of our Mother's Day salute. So they do 3 performances and they always bring new works. And we have Ailey Day, and we do workshops and we do all kinds of things. We've been doing that all this time. And Miss Jamison was very much a part of these activities, from the very beginning. So NJPAC, our love for her is endless, and the community of Newark and beyond absolutely love Ms. Jamison and her contributions.
You know, as a dynamic woman yourself, obviously studied, you've seen the rise, but let's talk about space. How do you look at her and obviously yourself and think of the space that she took up just being CEO of a company when we really weren't seeing that at first? What did she do, and what would you tell other young women and creatives about taking up space when they're on stage, even as they're growing in their artistic vision?
Oh, that's a great question. Because often women tend to hold back and not to feel as if I can claim claim my space, because sometimes in a male dominated environment, you feel as if I do, then I'll be shut down, I'll be silenced. I don't think that was ever an issue with Miss Jamison. That just was not even in her orbit, because it was so clear who she was, the power she had, but also the support that she had from Mr. Ailey. He loved women. He loved saluting women in his choreography and every platform possible. So she always had that kind of support. I don't think she ever even considered that I would be less than who I am. And I believe she empowered the dancers to feel the same way. And so her command of her art absolutely elevated her to the top of her profession. And I think that when we talk about space, in order to claim the space, you have to be at your best. So I don't think you can step into space and you only have 50% of yourself there. It's got to be 100. And the 100 represents the effort, the struggles, the suffering, the humility, the appreciation, all of those qualities, I think, enable you to be 100% in that space. At the same time, always making room for who's next, always raising our successors. So to me, that's what enables us to take up the space generously and continuously.
Thanks for that. But when you think about Newark and the personality, the artistic personality, can you describe for those who really don't have a clue and have never traveled to Newark about the really creative bastions from publishing and the arts and voices that are there each and every day in Newark?
I am happy to share that. As a Brooklyn resident, I had not spent a lot of time in Newark until I started working there 13 years ago. But actually, it was the Ailey Company that first took me to working in Newark with New Jersey Performing Arts Center. I believe it was like around 2007, 2008, when the Alvin Ailey Company was there, and me in my capacity as a marketing consultant, the Alvin Ailey Company had asked me to support the marketing efforts in Newark, New Jersey. And so I was able to talk with Ms. Jamison and, arrange some radio interviews and have her do some appearances as well as other members of the company. What I experienced in Newark at that time, almost 20 years ago, is different from what Newark looks like today. Today, Newark is thriving. It is such a vibrant environment. I encourage everyone to come and visit with us, not just in NJPAC, but enjoy the city. I serve as vice president on the board of Newark Arts, and we are so focused in elevating the artists in Newark. We have incredible visual artists. We have art galleries that are sprinkled throughout the city. We have playwrights. Of course, we have several dance companies, not just when we bring in, Alvin Ailey, but we have many local dance companies as well, and in the surrounding towns. And so it's a place where I believe the arts and culture are really supported, more so than perhaps some other cities. And part of that is our mayor, so that, Mayor Ross Baraka comes from an artistic family. His father was Amira Baraka, and he very much has made it clear that the arts are central to what we do and how we do business. We also have our arts that are established as cultural anchor institutions, which means we drive the economy of the city. So there's several of them, between the Newark Arts, Rutgers University, WBGO, of course, NJPAC, and others. One of our initial efforts is to make sure that we're creating spaces and opportunities to drive income so that everyone benefits from arts and culture. And that has been very significant. At NJPAC, we're doing it with our real estate initiatives where we've already constructed an apartment building that has been completely occupied and generates revenue for the city, for NJPAC, and of course, provides beautiful housing for people who are there. We're about to construct another apartment building. We are opening a family center called the Cooperman Family Center, and that will be open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. with programming that reflects the city of Newark. Most of that programming will be free, so people will be coming in and experience all kinds of things with the arts. We'll be opening the Lionsgate Film Studio, and that's something that's been in development now for a couple of years, but when it is completed, and it'll be the Northeast's largest film studio, it will generate $8 million of revenue annually for the city of Newark. So everything we do is with the idea of how does it generate income for the city? How does it profit? How do people benefit? As well as, of course, excellent artistic experiences.
And you have a phenomenal Black Film Festival there in Newark as well.
Yes.
So what do we imagine when we think of Alvin Ailey this year in 2025? What can we imagine? What should we do? How should we dress? What should we tell our daughters and sons about the opportunity in dance? And what will you present to them while they're there?
They're going to have a fantastic experience because, of course, we'll be performing Revelations, and that is such a beloved piece. I think if the company did not perform it, there would be a riot. So people will be very satisfied in seeing Revelations. There will be some new pieces that the company always brings. There will be Ailey Day, which I believe is May 3rd. Ailey Day is a whole day long of free workshops that anyone can partake in. I believe we usually have participants from ages 3 to 80 that are part of that. They will be able to, if they purchase a ticket, they will be able to attend a wonderful panel discussion with former Ailey dancers who are going to talk about their experiences with Miss Jamison. And that will be Friday, May 9th. And that's only for people who have a ticket. And this will be a once in a lifetime kind of conversation about their intimate experiences with Miss Jamison, the things that they experienced and heard, their personal relationships, as well as some film that may not have been shared publicly. So that's definitely a reason to get your ticket for Friday. And then, of course, Mother's Day, to dress. My first Mother's Day at NJPAC, and I brought my mom, who was alive at the time. It's all about the hats. It's Mother's Day. So we're celebrating moms, number one, and looking gorgeous, number two. And when you look in the lobby, all you're going to see is this wonderful landscape of beautiful women that are dressed just wonderfully and with their families. And so there's a lot of joy. There's a lot of laughter. People are happy. So it's a great day. So you've got Friday, of course, Saturday. Also, we have a prelude on Saturday. One of our local dance companies will be performing in the lobby, between 7 and 7:30. So you'll be able to see what dance looks like on a local level. And that's for ticket buyers as well. So once you get a ticket, you're in. You get to have access to all of these great experiences. So I hope that everyone will come out and see Ailey this year.
Well, Ms. Walker-Kuhne, I want to thank you for your insight and beautiful perspective on taking us into a journey of the arts and culture in Newark. Obviously, the Ailey NJPAC whole experience that people can really have. I want them to go. I'm just looking forward to seeing those mothers and families come and join each of these moments that you described so well and beautifully. This is Munson Steve for Arts and Culture with the one and the only Donna Walker-Kuhne. Welcome to Arts and Culture. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.